Since 1975, the United States and here in Minnesota, we made a decision that we would include every student in an opportunity to get a first-class education. Whether you're blind, hard of hearing, dyslexia, you know the range of disabilities many of our children in our community face. That's what Elon Musk cut. Know that I am angry about it, and I am going to fight what DOGE is doing every step of the way.
So we're going to starve children. We're going to make our government workforce completely inefficient and ineffective by randomly firing people. And meanwhile, we're going to jack the deficit up another $5 or $6 trillion so that the wealthy and corporations can get more tax breaks. That's what this is about. The American people should be outraged and they should stand up against it. The right wing is all about pushing their speech out and suppressing the other side. Don't let them get away with claiming that they're in favor of free speech. I mean, my goodness, Donald Trump just barred the AP from press conferences because the AP refuses to call it the Gulf of America. The right wing wants to suppress our rights. Don't let them claim otherwise.
Some of our most vulnerable, those with no health insurance, struggling with addiction or homelessness, have no hope. Importantly, CHC offers not just primary care, but preventative care, a critical aspect of our health care system. Not only is it cost-effective, it's compassionate and giving that hope. In Pennsylvania, thousands of doctors, nurses, behavioral specialists, and more show up every day for those most in need. They're not in it for the money, they're in it for the love of neighbor.
The county has relied on external EMS providers for emergencies, but thanks to the unwavering commitment of local officials and the community, Camden County will now deliver paramedic-level emergency medical services. Such a transformative step means quicker response times, improved coverage, and most critically, an enhanced capability to save lives when every second matters.
This is part of their insidious long-term goal to privatize the VA. The longer it takes to get an appointment, or the further away that a veteran has to go to get their care, the more likely it is that that care has to be received in the community, and then we're on a slow and steady march to privatization.
Just one camera I found had 10,633 videos on it. Patrick Bryant must have forgotten. In my younger days, in my youth, I used to be a computer programmer. I know enough about technology. I found more photos, this time of female employees. I found photos of wives of male employees. Photos of girlfriends and women who very clearly didn't know their private parts were being filmed and photographed.
Medic 12A and Medic 14B.
Gets a screen. Downhill he goes. Swiped away by Glenn. 3 to go. 2 and 1. Once for the win. Yes, sir! Oh, my God! Woods wins it for too late at the buzzer. Asher.
The Trump administration's work to, quote, restore biological truth to the federal government, close quote, is total bull. He is pandering to the lowest of his base and using the transgender community to fearmonger and fuel Republicans' culture wars. The removal of references to transgender people from federal websites and even from this monument's history is an act of deliberate erasure.
I was Attorney General in Missouri. We brought the Missouri versus Biden lawsuit that exposed this vast censorship enterprise that Joe Biden had with the big tech companies to silence conservatives. So we see it in the homeland. I think he's right. President Trump wants to move away from that kind of movement that is, the left has been captured by. But it is live and well here in Europe.
And he tried to claim no involvement with the January 6th choir, despite promoting them and hawking their merchandise for years. And he was unwilling to provide any details about his grand jury testimony. He was compelled to give after taking the fifth. People who take the fifth are using it to protect themselves from self-incrimination. Of course, Mr. Patel has the same right as any American to plead the Fifth, but we have an equal right to ask him, as the nominee for FBI director, no less, why he did so and to learn what he ultimately testified.
Agent Raul Gonzalez Officer Safety Act gives law enforcement authorities the necessary tools they need to fully penalize criminals who intentionally fail to yield to Border Patrol agents and law enforcement officials assisting Border Patrol. My friend Rep. Juan Ciscomani and Congresswoman Monica de la Cruz of Texas are co-leading this crucial bill. Passing this bill, really, it's a vital step towards protecting the law enforcement that protects us on the U.S.-Mexico border. It's named after Border Patrol agent Raul Gonzalez. He died while chasing illegal aliens near McAllen Station in the Rio Grande sector. This legislation imposes stricter penalties for evading law enforcement near the border. Agent Gonzalez's sacrifices are really a stark reminder of the dangers that our brave Border Patrol agents are facing each and every day, thanks in large part to the Biden administration and its lax border policies. Right now, I want you to take a listen to what Representative Abe Hamadeh from Arizona, a new member, said about the Agent Raul Gonzalez Officer Safety Act. He spoke at the House Leadership Press Conference earlier this week. Listen to what he had to say.
Now, we're going to hear from a member who knows firsthand the devastating impact of the border crisis. Another patriot wanting to make America secure. And now I turn it over to my friend, Rep. Abe Hamadeh from Arizona.
Thank you, Chairwoman, and thank you to the leadership team, Speaker Johnson, Leader Scalise, and Whip Emmer, and Chairwoman McClain. You all have been fantastic and been prioritizing the border since day one, since I took office on January 3rd. And we know that President Trump, that's his first actions as well. And as a former prosecutor from Arizona and a veteran myself, I know that keeping our communities safe is the #1 priority of the Republican majority. And I've seen firsthand how cartels and smugglers are exploiting the disastrous border crisis created by the Biden administration.
And the fact that it passed now twice in bipartisan basis. This is something that makes sense for both sides of the aisle. It's common sense. It's going to go to the Senate. I have a much better feeling about what's going to happen there this time. Senator Ted Cruz is leading the effort on the Senate side. And then also the White House and the administration came out with a statement today favoring the passage of the bill.
The culture being, if everybody digs in and takes a all or nothing mentality, my way or the highway, guess what you get? You get nothing. Everybody gets nothing. And that's just not going to work. So we are not a caucus just of moderates. Like there's people on the right, there's people on the left, there's people in the middle. Our dedication is to finding common ground, whether it's 10%, 15%, 20%. And guess what? It works. We've passed, as you've pointed out, over 100 bills in the time we've been together doing the work.